I'm not too sure as to when they did this, but on the wildhearts website, they have put up some information about the weapons. This has everything to do with their attacks, how stamina affects you and the weapon, and weapon upgrades. I will provide a link to this information in the description box below if you want to give it a read for yourself. Otherwise, I will talk about it right here if you don't have the time to read. It starts off with talking about combos. Every weapon has multiple combo strings, and they are made of two types of standard attacks and special attacks. One of your standard attack types is made up of basic attacks that can be used in any situation, whereas the other standard attack type ranges from high power attacks to support actions, depending on the weapon you're using. Then you have special attacks. These attacks are unique to each weapon and vary from switching stances or empowering combos. Guessing that means increasing the damage of your attacks or maybe giving you more attack strings. They also said that these attacks are critical to successfully defeating a monster. To me, it sounds like they're really powerful attacks, but I'm sure you can defeat a monster without using these special attacks. Next is the stamina system. Stamina is used when dodging, which is just an obvious mechanic in most games. It's also used when performing special attacks. This again makes sense because you don't want to see someone spamming their strongest attack and killing the monster in a second. They've also said that you gotta balance your stamina usage between attacking and evading the Kemono's attacks. So you better stop spamming your attacks and getting your ass destroyed by the monster. Every weapon can be upgraded in different ways to accommodate various playstyles. Weapons that have elemental attributes will be effective to specific Kemonos, while weapons without an element will have higher overall power. I'm guessing this just means that a weapon with an ice element, for example, will deal more damage against a fire Kemono. On the other hand, you have the non-elemental weapons that just have a higher base in damage, which sounds like these weapons are just useful for fighting any monster regardless of what element they use. That's their intro to the weapons. And now they talk about each weapon in detail. Here they mention the weapon's standard attacks and special attacks along with any weapon gauge they possibly use. Starting with the Karakuri Katana. This is a mid-weight weapon with a short range and it's easy to handle. Not really sure as to what they mean by easy to handle, and they also say it with some other weapons. The attack button 1 unleashes lightning fast, unassailable attacks. So invincible attacks? Maybe? The attack button 2 is used for high power but vulnerable attacks, meaning you gotta be careful when using these attacks because they will leave you wide open. The special attacks create powerful and long chained attacks at the cost of consuming a large amount of stamina. When the weapon gauge is full, it will allow you to enter an unleashed state, which enhances all your attacks. The strongest attack to do is to jump off 3 crates stacked vertically while in the unleashed state and just swing. Sounds like this might be the beginner's friendly weapon to start off with. This makes sense because of how the game is Japanese themed, and just looking at this weapon screams that you love anime. I mean, you like the Japanese culture. They didn't really say how you get energy for the weapon gauge here, but I'm guessing that you just attack the monster and you get energy for every hit. Next is the Nodachi, this great sword looking weapon. This is a heavy weighted close range weapon that is slow to use and deals huge damage while remaining easy to handle. Again, they don't really tell you what they mean by easy to handle. The attack button 1 unleashes high power upward aiming strikes. Sounds like the attacks to reach parts that are out of your reach. The attack button 2 performs slicing attacks while running or spinning. You can spin with this weapon? Also, sounds like the slicing attacks are more horizontal than the attack 1 attacks. The special attack allows you to use EI attacks when you've gained energy for the weapon gauge. Holding down the special attack button will allow you to gain energy for the gauge. You can also either stand still or move while holding down the special attack button. However, your weapon gauge buildup will increase quickly or slowly depending on whether you're standing still or moving. The EI performance will change depending on how full the gauge is. When unleashing the EI attack, when the gauge is filled, you will perform one of the most strongest attacks in the game. Another weapon that sounds simple to use, but this makes me wonder, what's the point of using the standard attacks when I can just focus on the special attacks? I mean, I guess I can use the normal attacks to get quick damage in and charge up my meter when I can't be swinging at the monster. Just gonna have to see how that works. The bow is a long-ranged weapon that requires great finesse and offers great maneuverability. Great finesse? Okay, sure. The bow has two main stances allowing you to hold the bow either horizontally or vertically. Attack button 1 will allow you to switch between these two stances, and the attack button 2 will strengthen the bow. The special attack button is used to fire off the bow. Firing the bow horizontally will lodge arrows into the kimono, whereas firing the bow vertically will resonate with the arrows that are lodged in the kimono, causing additional damage. Basically, when you fire the bow vertically and hit any arrows that are stuck on the kimono, you get to deal more damage. The strat here is to just fire horizontally, then switch to fire vertically at the arrows that are lodged in the monster. And then you just rinse and repeat this process. The attack button 2 will consume stamina to strengthen the bow. Now if you press this button once, while you're holding the bow horizontally, you will trigger erratic shooting. Pressing this button twice, however, will trigger arrow rain. Sounds like you can rain arrows in a small area. Whereas if you're holding the bow vertically, pressing the attack 2 will change the arrow into a piercing arrow, which will cause multiple hits while passing through the kimono. Pressing attack 2 twice will trigger an arrow with extremely high resonance damage. Looks like you want to use this when you have a lot of arrows lodged in. Holding down the special attack button will trigger continuous fire when you hold the bow horizontally. However, when you hold the bow vertically, you can charge up your next shot, which sounds like more damage for the next shot. Dodging with the bow is different compared to other weapons. Pressing the dodge button once will allow you to sidestep. Pressing it twice will perform a roll. Pressing the special attack button while rolling will trigger a unique attack. No other info was given here. Sus. The bladed Wagasa, the umbrella, is the only weapon in the game that can parry attacks. Kinda sucks. I would have liked more than one weapon to parry with, but alright. This is a lightweight, close-range weapon. Very quick attacks that can be chained into fast-paced combos are done with the attack 1 button. Attack 2 button can allow you to use high penetration attacks which can transition into airborne moves. The special attack button will allow you to parry all manner of attacks, but stamina will be used. I wonder if every attack can be parried, even though they've said all manner of attacks. Successfully landing attacks or parrying a kimono will build up the Ren Mai gauge. You will be able to deal more damage as you increase this gauge. Quite a short explanation of this weapon. Kinda worried about this. It sounds like they didn't put too much thought into it. Maybe that's just me. The cannon. This heavy, long-range weapon has 2 gauges. The charge gauge, which shows the amount of celestial thread stored in the cannon, and the heat gauge, showing the weapon's temperature. Firing shots is done by pressing the special attack button, or you can hold it down for continuous fire. But you gotta keep an eye out on the gauges. Continuously firing this weapon will quickly deplete your charge gauge. To replenish your charge gauge, you can stand on top of a base. A base can be placed on the ground by pressing the attack 1 button. Or you can press the attack 2 button while holding down the special attack button to shoot a base at your target. While shooting, the heat gauge will rise. When this gauge is maxed out, the cannon will overheat, and you won't be able to use it for some time. The heat gauge can be lowered by shooting out the base with the attack 2 button and using Karakuri combos. The gauge will also lower over time. Now, if you shoot out a base just before the cannon overheats, you will trigger an extra powerful attack, and you can set up an enhanced version of the base. Pressing the attack 2 button while holding the special attack button on top of the enhanced base will allow you to pull in more celestial thread. Pressing the attack button 2 again will unleash an especially powerful attack. This sounds like a lot to take in for the cannon, which is great. I feel like ranged weapons don't get much love when it comes to these types of games where close range combat is where it's mostly at. But then again, this kind of sounds like too crazy for a ranged weapon. Who knows? The claw blade. the only dual-wielded weapon. This lightweight weapon specializes in quick movement and aerial combat. The attack 1 button is mostly used for its swift attacks, leaving few openings, while the attack 2 button is used to adjust their position in order to build powerful combos. When attacking with the claw gauge will increase. Using the special attack button will allow you to pierce the kimono with the claw, which is then used as a grappling hook. This hook will allow you to attack the monster airborne as long as the claw gauge is filled. While you're landing hits on the monster and the claw wire is still attached, aerial attack damage will increase. Dodging while airborne will allow you to rotate, and the special attack button allows you to lunge at the kimono. This weapon sounds like a mix of Monster Hunter's Dual Blaze and Insect Glaive. Sounds very cool. A little bit complicated as well when it comes to just using the airborne attacks. And I do have to wonder, is it just limited to airborne attacks? Is there no land attacks with this weapon as well? Who knows? The Karakuri Staff, my main weapon. This is a medium weighted weapon that can transform into 5 different forms. Okay, the next sentence kinda baffles me. It says it offers close range attacks with the attack 1 command or button, mutation specific attacks with the attacks 2 command, and weapon shifting special attacks. Did they mean the special attacks button will allow the weapon to transform? Or the attack 2 button will transform the weapon while attacking? Very weird way of ending that sentence. Because the next sentence basically says the special attack button is used to toggle between the long staff, twin fang, war pike, and giant shuriken transformations. Also, pressing both the special attack button and the attack 2 button will transform the staff into the most powerful transformation, the giant sword. I really want to swing this. Transformation attacks can be triggered by pressing the special attack button straight after the attack 1 or 2 button combos. If you properly land these transformation attacks, you will increase the staff transformation level. Increasing the level will increase the power of each form, and in turn, it will enhance the performance of the great sword form. Again, I just want to swing that chunky sword, and maybe use that giant shuriken. Lastly, we have the Maul, apparently the heaviest weapon there. It offers incredible power and diverse combos. The attack 1 button will perform maximum impact blows. Attack 2 button will use high mobility strikes. And the special attacks will destroy nearby kimono and karakuri at the cost of stamina. Pressing the special attack button after using the attack 1 or 2 buttons will extend the handle of the Maul, allowing you to increase the performance of the weapon, and it will open up new combo paths. When using the special attack button by itself, you will perform the spinning attack. As mentioned before, this will damage both kimono and karakuri at the cost of stamina. That's the Maul. I do wonder about the part about damaging karakuri. You could probably use this in some unique way. Maybe some hidden tech behind this feature. That's all the 8 weapons. Every single one of them has mentioned the weight of the weapon. Some are heavy, medium, or light weights. Does that just determine the weapon's pacing? Or does it determine your character's movement speed? Either way, I'm excited to use all of these weapons and see which one will fit my playstyle. I would like to know what weapon you're interested in as well. What weapon will you be maining? Drop it down in the comments below. Well, that's it for me. Be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel for more, and I shall see you later.